Hello, fam. How's it going? Um, Tonight we're going to do an art cast of Dexter's Mom Go-Go. Just a little drawing that I did during the day just to have something to show for tonight. Um, it was a very nice little experience this afternoon. I found some little tricks and tips to run a browser source through OBS and how to control it. So I just opened up a link to YouTube. Me and a few other viewers, we spent a couple hours watching the Hungarian folk tales. If you haven't heard of that, just look it up on YouTube. They've got a channel. It's pretty. It's actually fantastic. It's those old school kind of fairy tales from the old world where just like messed up stuff happens and things really don't have a moral. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, and sometimes they're counterintuitive. Like a lazy boy will actually get rewarded while a lazy girl is punished. But the animation and the style, it varies. You can tell that some episodes are older and some are definitely newer. What was I gonna say? There's a story called Lazy Jack, and that's definitely one of the newer ones, as opposed to I'm trying to think of an old one that I really like. I guess the Pussycat Bride. Oh, and a lot of them sort of overlap each other. Like the Pussycat Bride is very similar to The Witch, where a young man has to go out and find a sort of a bride or a sweetheart, and either it's a witch or it's the pussycat that gives him good flowers, a handkerchief, and then eventually transforms into a beautiful maiden. But here, I don't know. I was just thinking about what kind of drawing I could do. First of all, I guess I should talk about how I was able to change the color of the background. There is an option I just found out recently in Paint Tool Saya where you can adjust the background. You can either make it pure white, which means that if you export a PNG, then it will have that white background. You can set the background on transparent, which is what I usually do, because when I'm exporting an image, I like to do it that, and I like to have a clear background when it's a PNG. And then you can also, I didn't know this until recently, you can change it to a specific color. So I guess in this case I just went with a lighter gray, and it actually works very nice with this kind of blue. I noticed that if you look at any sort of recent character models, especially the ones that the Adventure Time ones come to mind, where the production staff would just they'd have a Tumblr account or they'd have a Twitter account, and they'd just shoot out these character models. They wouldn't use a white background. They'd always use this gray one, and it is kind of a nice middle ground between, of course, white and black, and you can see certain details that might get lost in white. As for the subject, which is another picture of Dexter's mom, people really liked that first picture I did. It was just like a really simple, just image of Dexter's mom. And I was like, okay, and it got me thinking. And I was thinking, no one really draws mom in her battle outfit from the episode Best But Not Least, or Least or something. It's that one episode where Dexter and his family have to fight the giant axe monster. And I noticed that she's just wearing like a really cute outfit. Someone said, I think it was Joe Lasco, when I was doing the Picardo image thing, she basically said, oh, she's just Maddie Fenton. I said, oh, that's about right. Same sort of, I assume a lot of people from the same production staff maybe, but definitely the same voice actress. So, they're both redheads. It makes sense. But you can definitely see sort of the similarities here when you look at the final outfit. I was thinking, not a lot of people draw her in this outfit. And I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. And I just kind of went for it. I went crazy with the big thick thighs and tried my best to make a sort of dynamic pose. Thick thighs save lives indeed, Condor. Thick thighs save lives indeed. I got my nice coffee here. So yeah, I mean, I did do a little bit something different, and it may have actually wasted my time, but I'm sort of glad with the effect, and that was I was gonna do sort of some flat just shape, lineless art style, but then I sort of abandoned that maybe a part way through, and you'll see. I was just kind of playing around. I'm happy with the final result, but it wasn't in what I had in mind. Let's just put it that way. And I sort of shifted gears partway through. Also, I was just noticing that episode. Hold on, I want to get the chat up. In fact, let me move the chat over here a little bit. There we go, so I can see all you lovely people and everything. There we go. I was just noticing how basically you can track all of Genndy Tartakovsky's career from that one episode. I mean, let's look at it. You got sort of the Samurai Jack feel, what with the little foreign exchange student, and he's riding the cloud, and you have giant robots. Okay, that's basically Symbiotic Titan. You also have you kind of have a throwback to an older property. Power Rangers, Voltron, something like that. So you can kind of say, oh, that's a little bit of an homage or like a foreshadowing to Star Wars. And this one's a reach, but I wrote it down anyway. You got Monkey from Monkey, and that's sort of a link to Primal. I don't know. I just found it interesting how that one short, like, really just is a hotspot for all his interests and his possible future career paths. Also, Genndy Tartakovsky is Russian, and I just thought it was kind of a weird little coincidence that I maybe subconsciously I was like, oh, I'll put on the Hungarian folktales cartoons, because there is sort of similarities between Genndy's sort of art style and maybe traditional sort of Russian sort of flat 2D representation, and also ornate patterns that came from that sort of Scandinavian area of the world. I don't think he's ever actually mentioned any of that, but also I think I'm spitballing there, because I know for a fact when he was doing his interviews for Samurai Jack on the Samurai Jack documentary, he basically said, "Oh, I got started in art later on. After he moved to America, he saw a comic book rack and made friends with artists who sort of helped him out." Pardon me, I've just been corrected. CR Hungarians aren't Slavic, though. My mistake. But they still have that kind of sort of Well, I'm just thinking, like, ornate patterns. There's even, like, Russian animation that came out at the time that was sort of very flat and geometric, but that was a trend at the time. And like I said, I might be just spitballing because I don't think he actually ever mentioned any of art influence coming from Russia. For those who don't know, he and his family left in, I believe, the 1960s or 70s. I think it was the 60s, when when they were allowing sort of the mass, I guess, I want immigration. I was going to say exodus, but that's not. That's a little too on the nose. The mass immigration of Russians from Russia to America, and he came over and started a new life here. Yeah. Also, here's another little tidbit that I just found interesting because it's a production thing on my end. I ran this through. This is about maybe double the speed, and so when I converted it, or I squashed it down to an hour's length just to get it down to running time for our little art casts. But when I did that, I left the corner. Remember how I said last night? I was like, oh, I got to put something over. Oh, I got to put a box over the footage that I watch, just to make sure that I don't get distracted. Well, right now I'm looking at a little green box that's going to be basically signify. Where is? Really? That's not it. There we go. It's a little green box. No. There we go. Video capture device. I should put CR camera there. But it's basically a green box. It covers over the footage. I ran it through the video processor once, and it turned out that the final file was about maybe 6 gigs. Which is, okay. I expect that something bigger with a larger file over an hour. I put a cover over that, and I run it through again, just as an experiment. Oh, I know why I did it again. I didn't have a final image on the end of the file, so it just sort of looped again. It didn't go to the final image for you to see. So I was like, I got to do it again. But this time I put the cover on there, and the final file is just under 2 gigs. So it really just goes to show you, and of course it converted faster. It just goes to show you when you even have a little video of a little cartoons just running in the corner, it really it adds more. It just adds so much more to the memory file. Let's see now. Well, are we okay? I think I had to like answer the phone or something during that little moment. What are we talking about? RPGs or something? Winnie-the-Pooh. Oh yeah, Russian Winnie-the-Pooh. Russian cartoons. I was going to say, Russian Winnie-the-Pooh is actually freaking hilarious because Winnie-the-Pooh, my mind is jumping from the original Winnie-the-Pooh to the Winnie-the-Pooh comic to the Russian Winnie-the-Pooh. It's just funny because the Russian Winnie-the-Pooh is he's got so much more character than just kind of like the very slow, but also kind-hearted. I guess we consider Winnie-the-Pooh kind-hearted, even though he's just kind of like, he is sort of thoughtless and rude, but he sort of doesn't know he's rude. The Russian Winnie-the-Pooh knows he's kind of rude, and he's also sort of manipulative because he invites himself to a rabbit's dinner, and it's just hilarious. You just go watch it yourself. He's trying to get out a free meal out of Rabbit, and he does like awkward, just basically just socially acceptable things. Like he says they have a dinner or they have lunch, and then they say, well, I guess it's appropriate to visit. So they sit there, and their idea of visiting is just sitting there while the clock is just like tick, 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 tick. You can tell it's just like a really sort of awkward moment, and they're only doing it for the sake of appearances. And of course you have Disney's Winnie-the-Pooh, which is much more sort of, yeah, I don't know. It's like you could honestly say the Disneyfication of Winnie-the-Pooh, which is like, it's sweet. We all love Winnie-the-Pooh. I actually never, I was shown Winnie-the-Pooh. I watched it a bunch of times, but I never like actually really fell in love with Winnie-the-Pooh. Hello, Thomas. I think the only sentimental thing I have about Winnie-the-Pooh is the saga of the little blue bird that Rabbit takes care of in the Adventures of Winnie-the-Pooh. When he raises her and then she comes back to visit, basically Rabbit's daughter for all extensive purposes. That's sort of my sentimentality when it comes to Winnie-the-Pooh. Hey CR, have you ever heard about the Hungarian comic strip Jukia? Oh, is that one about the girl? And she's just basically, yeah, it's the little short little short black-haired girl, woman. She's got like a really short cut, and she just gets in all sorts of misadventures involving promiscuity and whatnot. Kessie, Kesse, Kesse. So yeah. But other Russian cartoons. There's one other like little. There's of course like stop motion animation, and it's all like it's beautiful. I believe there's one about maybe. There's of course a Hedgehog's Garden, I think it's called. And there's even another one called like the Crocodile and the Peacock. I think that's what it is. It's definitely involving a crocodile and a bird, and it's very surreal, very sad. And there's also just one about a little girl, and she's building a rocket ship, and her pesky older brother is bothering her. So I guess she tricks the brother into thinking he's landed on another planet. I just thought that was really cute. And then, of course, you got the most famous sort of Russian cartoonist of all. Not famous, but sort of infamous. I believe it's... I forget how it's pronounced, but Dutch. He was a director in Russia, and then he, I guess, eventually got contacted by MGM to do the Tom and Jerry shorts, or a few of them. Like maybe like 5 or 6 of them. Thank you, KYD. And people don't really like those Tom and Jerry shorts, and even the director himself didn't like the Tom and Jerry shorts. He didn't like Tom and Jerry at all, and he, I guess he just kind of. There's actually one really famous one where he sort of deconstructs the whole notion of Tom and Jerry, where it's got like, a modern cartoon, and it's literally a box with Tom and Jerry in it. I guess you could say that. What was I going to say? I guess you could say his biggest contribution to Tom and Jerry is that he added a sort of human character who was the owner of Tom, I suppose. Or, he showed up in a bunch of different things. I believe he was basically almost like Captain Ahab, although Captain Ahab was white, white into like pale white, like absolutely like pitch paper white. It is the same design. It might as well have been the same character. It's this surly gentleman who's just always trying to just relax and spend his time in recreation. And Tom was always Jerry was always messing with Tom, and Tom was always screwing up, and the master was like always pissed off. I thought the owner was a woman. Okay, let's go over this real quick. Okay, first of all, there's one question I wanna address. Let's see. I kind of throwback question, but do you remember your top animated list? Would you make any changes to the list? Yes, I would take out. I don't know who I would take out. Maybe Donna from the Cleveland show, and I would replace her with Nicole Watterson, and I would probably put Nicole Watterson a little bit higher on the list. So there you go. Moby Mike, maybe that's the episode. And by the way, yes, I do know about Jukika, or I don't know how you pronounce that. I think it's very cute. It's a nice strip. I can see why it's very popular, and it's not all sort of pin-up art and promiscuity and sort of sexuality. It's there's a lot of interesting little fun stuff that she manages to do with that comic strip. But let's see. Let's do a quick rundown of Tom and Jerry's owner, or Tom's owners. Jerry never had an owner, I suppose. Thank you for pointing that out, Werewolf. Let me think. Well, you just might as well put it out. I think her name was Ma'am. The I guess not the owner, but sort of the black maid. Different times. But she was the one that interacted with Tom and Jerry the most in those old days. Let's see, and then you've got like it. There was a point where, like, in the very late MGM shows, back when Hanna-Barbera were still working for MGM, they sort of lived with this family. It's this sort of waspy sort of husband and wife. The husband wore glasses and was kind of had a nice cut and had a big pointy nose, and the wife was, I think, had short goldish hair. Very, very atypical sort of stuff. I believe there's one sort of short that stands out in my mind where Tom had his picture taken while he was eating a ham, and Jerry was constantly trying to show it to the masters, or the father, I think. And then you flash forward a little bit, and I think you have the Russian man, the one the Russian director created. I think that's one for them. There was a period where Tom and Jerry just kind of existed in their own home. They didn't really have any sort of humans interacting with them for a while. I want to think. And then you've got, of course, Tom and Jerry movie, where you have whoever owned them at the beginning of the movie, and then you've got the little girl at the end of the movie. So, and then who? No, I'm trying to think. There might have been a few ones after that when it comes to... Oh, well, actually, if you count all the movies, if you count all those stupid crossover movies, then I don't know who they had owners in, like the Magic Ring and those sort of things. But if you count the movies, then you have... I guess they belonged to the little boy who owned the sort of fairy tale theme park sort of thing. So that's one. You've got Dorothy. You've got Charlie from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So yeah, let's just take a look at the look. Let's take a look at all the Tom and Jerry movies. I'm trying to look up. Okay, Tom and Jerry movies. Movies. I guess we could do. Oh, I guess you can also say Johnny Quest was one of the owners that they had, because I remember that Mars Blast Off. I don't know if they had any owners there. They were part of a pirate movie, so that's one thing. Okay, I'm looking for filmography. There we go. Da, da, da. Oh no, these have all their shorts included too, because you got Anchors Away, Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz. Oh, Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock owned Tom and Jerry at one point. A Nutcracker Tale. So I guess they no. In that one, they ran into a theater, so no one owned them at the beginning of that. Um, Robin Hood and his Merry Men. So I believe in that one, Jerry was a merry man, but I believe Tom was owned by the sheriff of Nottingham. Pardon me. Tom and Jerry Santa's Little Helpers. What's this one? Is this one new? I don't think I've seen this one. 2014. Huh. A Christmas special. The plot involves Jerry and Tuffy are living the good life in Santa's workshop, of course they are, until the unfortunate day when Tom is rescued by the Claus family. So I guess Tom was also owned by Santa Claus, too. Johnny Quest, Santa Claus, Sherlock Holmes. Holy crap. Shiver Me Whiskers. I bet you $5 Tom was owned by a pirate. Maybe even Blackbeard. Let's look this up. The movie starts in Ocean. Red Pirate John. Tom and Jerry travel aboard the same ship. No, I guess they're just sort of kicking around then. Dragon. The Lost Dragon. So I guess they were owned by either the witch or the warlock. There was like a warlock, and then there was also like a what was it? A warlock or a witch apprentice or something. And of course we have Willy Wonka and Tom and Jerry's Giant Adventure. I guess that's all of them. What's it? Dangerous When Wet? Dangerous When Wet. I didn't know this. Hold on a second. I'm going to shut the door. Dexter, the Nostalgia Toonster. Hello, how you doing? I don't think I've seen you around here before. Okay, so Dangerous When Wet was a MGM musical film starring Esther Williams, Fernando Lamas, and Jack Carson. I don't know. I think I know Jack Carson. And it featured an animated swimming sequence starring Williams with the animated cat duo Tom and Jerry. So for some reason, this movie has Williams with Tom and Jerry for some reason. I mean, we know the reason. Because Tom and Jerry was incredibly popular around 1953, and MGM wanted to stick them in a movie. Huh. Well, it's good to have you here, Dexter, and I'm sorry it's very late at night, but it's actually, it's about 7:43 here, so it's not bad. So Dangerous When Wet was a movie, and then you got Anchors Away. Was a 1945 American Technicolor musical comedy musicals. Okay, so it's starring Frank Sinatra and Gene Kelly. In addition to a live... Okay, so that's the one where Kelly and Jerry Mouse do their little dance. Anchors Away. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting stuff. Oh, also, I now that I'm just looking at this thing that says Hanna-Barbera, and they got Scoob on there. Scoob, I guess, I was running around yesterday, getting more stain for Grandma to work on her drawers, something to keep her busy. And by the way, she I bought her a can of the right stuff the first time, and she says, "Oh no, that's too light. That's way too light. We've got to look, and they've changed the formula, obviously, so we've got to go." And we spent about maybe a week going to different stores, and lo and behold, they have all the stuff we need at Walmart. I go and I get her 3 little cans of colors that might match, including the original one, and sure enough, it was the one I bought her the first time. So, you know. But Scoob, getting back to that, I had to go from hardware to groceries, and I passed by the toy section, and they had this big display for Scoob. T-shirts, action figures, lots of action. I didn't expect the action figures. Hello, Nicholas. How's it going? Anchors Away was Frank Sinatra's first breakout role. Very good. But anyway, I was looking up, and I was like, okay, well, they've got Scoob, and they got Shaggy, and they've got Velma, and and then they've got Dick Dastardly, and they've got Blue Falcon, and sure enough, they've got an action figure of Captain Caveman. I was like, oh, cool, Captain Caveman. And it was actually, it was actually pretty cool the way they did the redesign. He's got it's almost like it's almost like dreadlocks, the way they've got him set up now. And I thought it was like an interesting redesign. And he's got like beads and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. They're trying to do something with this Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. Shoot, man, if they can find a way to bring SWAT cats into that, then fine, sure, go ahead. Hey, Nick Cage. I've been a huge fan of yours since 2012. Have you heard of the channel Supporting Actor Spotlight? No, I have not. Is that your channel, or? Well, thank you very much for the $5. That's much appreciative. Let's see. Are you able to review a lot of Scooby-Doo related shows and movies? Able? Sure. I mean, I can if I want to. I think I did a rundown of all my favorite ones during one of these before. Yeah, I think a Hanna-Barbera... You know what? At this point, sure, why not? Why not do a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe? Have fun with it. And frankly, I'm out of the game when it comes to cinematic universes. Even I wasn't like over the moon about the MCU. I'm glad they pulled it off, but then again, they put in the legwork. Someone mentioned something. Fun fact: Die Hard is based off a book that was a sequel to a book called The Detective, in which the film started starring Frank Sinatra. I know about that. There was a connection to that. Anyway, well, see you, Dexter. Thanks for stopping by. Honest opinion, how do you feel about Matthew Lillard not voicing Shaggy in the movie? You know what? I think it's a shame, because that he sort of embodied that role after the movie, and after Casey Kasem died. Or didn't die. He didn't die. He was actually still sort of kicking around, but he sort of officially passed the role on. I believe the two actually worked together in Mystery Incorporated, which in my opinion is the best Scooby-Doo series. I would rank my favorite Scooby-Doo series, because there's been enough of them, would be Mystery Incorporated, because it starts off slow. The design is amazing, and I don't mean the actual character design. I mean the actual color, the color design. That's the first series when I sort of realized, oh wow, color palettes actually matter. You don't have to have everything exist within the same exact world, and you don't have to go crazy with detail. You can just have weird colored patterns in places, and it really suggests a mood. And of course, like I said, I would say it sort of ramps in season 2. It gets a little fanficky, and then it's again like the MCU. It goes crazy towards the end, but I think it actually earns it. And then of course I would have to say that the original series would be the actually no. If you count the movies starting from Zombie Island, and then sort of maybe ending around, let's see, you've got Zombie Island, you've got the witch's ghost, you've got the alien one, and then the cyber chase. I think there's one in between or one after that. But if you count that as a run, then I would definitely say that's another good one. I'm trying to think. Okay, and then I would go with the original series. And then, surprisingly, I would think, what's that one that was like Scooby-Doo meets Family Guy? But it wasn't really Family Guy, because it was actually much better than I had anticipated. I got a DVD of that when me and Grandma, we were going to the library to get her a bunch of new books, and I was looking through the DVD section they had of all the weird, foreign cartoons, and I saw that. I was like, sure, I'll just give it a try. And I was actually really surprised about the quality that they showed during the series. First of all, I think they actually had actual detective work, sort of on par with Mystery Incorporated. They actually thought about how to best sort of be cool Scooby-Doo, I guess. Thank you, Partridge. They actually had interesting stories that were mysteries. I think that's probably the worst Velma design ever. I never got used to it. Didn't get used to a lot of the designs, but I think that might be the best Freddy in any series, because he wasn't just the I love the characterization they came up with for Freddy in Mystery Incorporated, but I think this one's a little bit stronger because it shows that he's also a bit insecure when it comes to sort of being the leader, and also I could just tell that Frank Welker was just having a ball. It's been a while since Frank Welker actually kind of acted. He acts whenever he does something, but it's just they bring him in and he does animal noises, and he always plays Fred. I think I could just tell he was having fun during that series, and I was sort of and not the kind of Teen Titans Go fun that Tara Strong and all the other actors who are on that show that they have. Because they've said, "Oh, we love Teen Titans Go. We have so much fun in the recording booth," and it's okay, after I heard that, I was like, okay, my animosity towards that series sort of dissolved. Because, well, if you're getting paid to have fun, I can't really get mad at you. Um, Hello, Ernie. How's it going? Michael, welcome. So it's like, yeah, I can't really get mad at you if you're having fun with that. But I can definitely tell that Frank Welker was having a lot of fun playing this sort of goofy, dim-witted Fred. In more of a comedic way than he was in Mystery Incorporated. And yeah, a pup named Scooby-Doo. I would say that would be an important stepping stone in the career of all the people that gave us Tiny Toons and Animaniacs. It's basically a straight line between a pup named Scooby-Doo and Tiny Toons and then Animaniacs for a lot of people. So I think that was important. I wasn't crazy about it. I thought it had like the theme song slapped, but I always found myself getting a little bored at parts. What's also interesting? I'm trying to think of his name, but you also have so also was an influence on Animaniacs and Tiny Toons. Pound Puppies, the second season of Pound Puppies, because for some reason, let me look his name up. Hold on a second. Who's the director? He's the creator and sort of director. Let's see. Animaniacs. Hold on a second. The Maniacs. Not Sherry Stoner, but she's a wonderful writer. Animaniacs TV show. Tom Ruegger. That's what I'm thinking of. Tom Ruegger, I believe he was either a writer or maybe even a showrunner for Pound Puppies. And you can totally tell because he loves to insert like songs into his shows. There's in parodies of they'll do like I've been working on the railroad, and then he'll write joke lyrics about that, and his characters will sing it. It works better on Animaniacs because there's actually a budget for animation. But I remember the headmistress and her shitty little niece or daughter, I think it was. I remember them singing songs like that, sort of public domain songs with fun new lyrics. And I was like, oh, okay, that's totally a Tom Ruegger. That's a total Tom Ruegger move. There's also like that part in Animaniacs. I don't know what it was. I'm trying to think of an actual song. There it goes. We're the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister. You like her if you kiss her. Oh yeah, we sail the ocean blue. That one where they meet the pirate. The Modern Major General episode parody thing. 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo was actually a great premise. Didn't like it. Did not like it. I sort of was like, oh wow, this is such a cool show when I was a little kid, and then I watched reruns on Cartoon Network and was like, oh man, this kind of stinks. You've got Flim Flam, who's just an annoying character. I don't want to sort of speak of the dead, and the dead in this case being that guy with the glasses.com, but I was going to ask. Oh God, I don't even know his name anymore. Who played, the Haji? But anyway, I was going to ask that one actor, or the one, who was always working with Doug. I was going to ask him if he wanted to do a sort of a flim flam, where flim flam grew up, but he was like a burnout con man now, because he wasn't like a little kid anymore. And then of course you have I guess they did a movie based on the 13 Ghosts, where they only caught 12, which I actually think they only did catch 12. Actually, no. Halfway through the series, I think they re-released the Ghosts. I think. Did that happen? Or not? Huh. I'm remembering it that way. Huh. Bargo. Okay, Bargo was his name. That's right. Very good. He, fun fact, around the time of the special, or the special that I was involved in, I believe he wanted to sell his stake in that guy with the glasses and get out of it once SOPA was a thing, because he was like really afraid of SOPA. And of course we did this big pushback, and we managed to defeat it, only for a shitty FDA, the FDA or FCC to sort of get rid of net neutrality. Now, I don't know if it's ever going to come back. We'll have to see when we if there's a change of watch. But apparently Daphne was a werewolf at one point. Yes, she was. She was a werewolf because one of the ghosts was a werewolf ghost. I don't know why. And of course you have Vincent Price, who was great. I guess that was the main point of the show. And they did make an original Scooby-Doo movie based off the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. They had 13 episodes, one ghost per episode, and the pilot. So the show got canceled before they could get the final episode. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you, Nicholas. I actually, I have that. I think I have the DVD set around here somewhere. I remember when they went to a ghost convention, and they had like these bizarre-looking character models. Not Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. God, even the humor was kind of a weird letdown. But yeah, what's the one with the biggest disappointment? What's another good one? And then you've sort of got the run where you got Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers. I love that. I love that show, or that movie, especially the opening. I was like that opening was creepy. No real commentary from Shaggy about the fact that his relative clearly owned slaves at some point. But let's see. I'm thinking, what else? You got Scooby-Doo Meet the Boo Brothers, Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, and there's a third one in there. It's not Scooby-Doo and the Boo School. At least I don't think it is. I thought there was another one. Scooby-Doo Get a Clue. Scooby-Doo Get the F Out, more likely. Oh yeah, you know what? Now that I take it back, that was another show where Casey Kasem showed up again because he played Uncle Albert. Shaggy's super rich inventor uncle who disappeared and also made Scooby snacks so that Scooby-Doo can transform into basically Shaolin Showdown. It's the same creators of Shaolin Showdown, even though they wanted, hey, make Scooby-Doo. Make a property that we own, that we can package for a while, instead of your original product that you can take to Canada like a decade later and make an inferior version of. Okay, so we got, thank you, Nerdy Benson. We got the Ghoul School. We got the Reluctant Werewolf. We got the Boo Brothers. There's one more, I think. Scooby-Doo. I think it was part of what they called the Hanna-Barbera Big Ten, which was 10 TV specials over like maybe 2 years. Scooby-Doo Movies. This is a big Hanna-Barbera show, which is actually pretty good. Because I think this was created under the Hanna-Barbera emblem. Scooby-Doo Media. List of Scooby-Doo in media. 10 TV specials. Let's take a look at TV specials. Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood. That's definitely not one of them. The Scooby-Doo Project. Okay, well that's... And Night of the Living Doo. Okay, these are like TV specials from like... No. Direct-to-movie, films, TV series. Wait, why don't they have Scooby-Doo... Direct-to-video Scooby-Doo. They don't have Scooby-Doo and the Boo Brothers here. Scooby-Doo... Oh, live action, that's right. Daphne and Velma? They made a Daphne and Velma movie? When did they do that? 2018. Okay, that makes sense. I guess it was one of those Cartoon Network movies. That, I was going to say, that's around the time when I stopped watching TV. So that totally makes sense. That was like maybe just 2 years ago. Yeah, I'm not seeing under the... They've got direct-to-video specials. Scooby-Doo and the Spooky Scarecrow. Mecha Mutt. Ghastly Ghouls. Comic strips, film strips, plays? Oh, hey. Huh. They've got musicals and plays. Scooby-Doo and Stage Fright. Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost. Scooby-Doo and the Gourmet Ghost. Scooby-Doo, Batman Brave and the Bold. And Blowout Beach Bash. What is this? Where is... Scooby-Doo and... Okay, here we go. Animated TV films. So they have the Boo Brothers in 87. In 88, they had The Ghoul School, which is a perpetual favorite. Ernie, are you still here? Let's see. And then Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, which gave Shaggy a girlfriend, Gookie. Or, I think it was Gookie. Oh, wow. Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf was like Scrappy-Doo's last appearance. That's right. He actually has never actually appeared in a sort of supporting role as like an ally. He's been a callback, and he's also appeared as the villain in Scooby-Doo the movie. So wow, that's his last thing, huh? He wasn't even that bad when it was just when he had to deal with real shit. Oh, and then you've got okay, the fourth one I was thinking of, and it really doesn't even count. It was Scooby-Doo in Arabian Nights. You remember that? It was like 1994, and Hanna-Barbera made 1001 Arabian Nights, and they sort of aped off of they sort of were aping off Aladdin. Except they reversed it, where the girl needed to be a princess to marry the prince. Ghoul School is so boring. Yeah, right, Herbie. Okay. Um, it was 69 minutes long. Nice. Let's see. Yeah, so basically, that's the one I was thinking. I wasn't thinking of that one. So there wasn't a fourth one. But there was a fourth one. It was just sort of not good. Crossover episodes, ask her this. Okay. Remember the Scooby-Doo parodies on the Venture Brothers? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Oh, speaking of this, yeah, this turned out nice. I got the highlights and I got a few little shaded parts that I managed to sneak in there. Like I said, I sort of did everything in reverse, where I put the color, the areas of color first, and then I made the lines, and then sort of the shading and the highlighting. But I think it turned out good. Also, that weird, oh, pardon me, coffee. That weird sort of lighting effect where it sort of, it's kind of got like a glow to it. I was just playing around trying to find some way to make it look a little bit more dynamic and interesting. Mm-hmm. Was there a Scooby-Doo meets Dracula? No, I don't think so. I think he met Dracula in enough episodes, but I don't think he actually, like, there was actually like a big fanfare around it. There was a musical where they go and they meet some swamp vampires, and it had something to do with Shaggy being like scared out of his. No, wait, that's the dinosaur one. That's where where Shaggy had to like not be scared, or he'd permanently go insane or something. I don't know. Uh, yeah. Oh, actually, I'm surprised I was able to sort of like make this. I added this just as the little last part, even though I always wanted to do it. The little glimmer of sunlight off of the little the visor. If I weren't so lazy, I'd actually look up and see how they actually draw their that sort of the lens flare kind of thing, and how to depict it properly. But I think I did fine here. Oh yes, that's right, Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Oh yeah, Dracula was the protagonist of The Reluctant Werewolf. Okay, my bad. That's right. I remember. Yeah, that's for some reason Shaggy was the only human that could be turned into a werewolf when he was put underneath a full moon, which that wasn't the only time and he didn't know about this, so it's not like he spent his life avoiding the full moon. He just, I guess he was never under a full moon at any point. Which is kind of dumb when you think about it. But like, he was the only human that could possibly become a werewolf, and so they turned him into a werewolf to try and... oh, that's right. The old werewolf... Oh God, they wanted a race. That movie's crazy. They wanted to have their big monster road rally where they needed a werewolf, but Dracula was pissed off because the werewolf retired and was all like, screw you guys, I'm not going to do this anymore. He didn't quit being a werewolf. He just quit racing for some reason, and he like went to like Florida or something and retired. So yeah, I have fond memories of that, but just because it was interesting and fun to watch, the racing and everything. Why the I guess that must have been like leftover wacky racing ideas to do. Pardon me, I just saw an art question. What program are you using? I am now well, this is an earlier recording of me drawing with Paint Tool Seiya. And there we go. There's the final product. Mom in all of her thick-thighed glory. And again, I don't see many people actually drawing this kind of outfit for her. And it was only featured in one episode. I think I've seen more drawings of her in the 80s outfit than I have seen in this one. So, oh yeah, that's right, the Hunch Bunch, which was the two little, the two hunchback minions, where you've got the one guy who's all sloppy and he's got his tongues all hanging out, and then you've got the proper one. That was sort of the first joke where I was like, that sort of played with expectations, where my little childhood brain was like, oh, he's actually quite charming and eloquent. I didn't know what charming and eloquent meant back then, but I knew that it was a reverse on what I expected and what was expected from those characters. So anyway, I think we're done here for tonight. Thank you all for joining me, and we will have another art.